Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, and as ever, nice to have your company. Thank you, by the way, for all your kind comments about that recent video regarding the Hugh Hefner TV series. Yes, that sparked a few memories, didn't it? And I know I find these sort of TV shows fascinating. I don't know about you, because as I often say here on the show, it just proves, doesn't it, that nothing's new. Everything's just regurgitated with brand new stars, brand new celebrities. But of course, when you do look around, you do find that there are other things out there that people had a go at. So today I thought I'd share with you another golden gem about the lost days of Hollywood. Now, if you remember, of course, way back when you were younger, or perhaps your mum and dad had these, do you remember all those fabulous movie magazines like Moviegoer, Picturegoer, Pictorial, where you saw all of those beautiful pictures, normally created by superstar photographers of all your favourite stars. No blemishes, no spots, perfect teeth, perfect clear eyes, all of those usual things. And you think to yourself, don't you, how do they look so glamorous? They were airbrushing those pictures way back when. But there were two doyens, of course, of people that really held the power of celebrity gossip in Hollywood way back when, and they were Hedda Hopper and Luella Parsons. They were both really individual people that had syndicated columns that were read daily by around about 75 million people, all through various newspapers and magazines. Plus they had their own radio shows too. Back in 1960, television thought that Hedda Hopper might make a very good transition to television. Yes. Now, she was kind of famous for wearing sparkly jewellery, big hats, all of that sort of stuff. But many stars were absolutely terrified of her because she truly could make or break your career. You all had to really grease up to one of them in order to make sure that you got in their column. So for instance, you might give the engagement to one, but the wedding to another, the birthday to one, the breakup to another. Do you see what I mean? You had to keep them sweet, because if you didn't, they would turn against you. If you don't believe me, look at the careers of people like Marlon Brando and of course Rock Hudson. They took to them, and sadly they decided they were going to ruin them. She tried on one, failed on another. In 1960 they decided to make a pilot called Hedda Hopper's Hollywood, right? And it was full of big name guests, you know, including Lucille Ball, who revealed this gem on the show. She said the reason why that they charged people to come to the recordings of her big TV series I Love Lucy was she felt that people would be more demanding if they paid, which in turn would make the cast work harder. Good idea when you think about it. Not quite sure if people would pay to see television audiences today, you know what I mean? However, the show was, as I say, packed with all sorts of stars, people popping in, her giving her take on all the latest Hollywood gossip, all of that sort of stuff. It was billed as a one-off special, but the plan really was to turn it into a weekly series. A bit of a forerunner to things like, you know, lifestyles of the rich and famous, you know, that sort of thing. But sadly for Hedda, it didn't really trans over to television. You know, people found her a little bit bristle, a little bit curt, and of course she was sort of stepping out of line with what was then becoming a fresh, brand new decade, the swinging 60s, beach movies. So having somebody sitting there with a big hat, diamond earrings on, and talking about stars of yesteryear wasn't necessarily cutting it with the advertisers, the broadcasters, who really need that money. You get the picture. So moving forward for Hedda, sadly, it didn't really take off. She tried it with many other ideas and popped up in various film cameos. But now, as ever, someone's managed to locate some of the footage from that very first and lost show. Now, obviously, you know, for people who really like their Hollywood gossip, this is a bit of a goldmine because it has references to people like Marianne Davis, Carol Lombard, Louis B. Mayer, Harry Cohen, names of the golden age, truly, of Hollywood. I've been lucky enough in my career, as I say, to interview many of those golden names who actually worked with some of those people. One story I might share with you, which I thought was fascinating, was way back in March 1962, at the Golden Globe Awards, Rock Hudson presented Marilyn Monroe with a very special award as the world's favourite star. And the person who was actually asked to pass the Golden Globe to Marilyn Monroe was a 21-year-old Stephanie Powers, seen here in the picture. Stephanie told me that she was absolutely in awe of Marilyn, who only had a matter of months to live, and Rock Hudson too. But she didn't like the way she looked because Columbia Pictures had loaned her the dress, and she didn't think she looked too good in the dress. I think Stephanie looks beautiful at any age personally. We all loved her in Heart to Heart, didn't we? But back to Hedda. What was interesting here was Hedda, even at that particular moment, decided to slice the knife into Marilyn, Rock and Stephanie. So you can understand why her TV show didn't take off, while people like gossip in print and perhaps scurrilous sort of stories in radio. On television, where Hedda's, shall we say, heavy makeup and the rest really did transfer through, it wasn't the success that Hedda Hopper had hoped for. Check the show out on YouTube and you'll see exactly what I mean. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.